Today is, today's date. Well, in the US, it's November 3rd, right? It's Monday, November 3rd. I hope you're having a good day wherever you are. Most of you may be watching this video when it becomes a replay. So in the future people, I hope you're having a great day wherever you are. Maintaining a positive mindset, not letting the little things stress you, not giving your power away to other people who are insignificant to your growth and expansion. Don't give them your energy. They don't deserve it. And you should already know that. So I'm going to go here just to check.
Visit a different neighborhood.
Wow. Yeah, because I'm going on my trip soon. And so this may be the last live that I do until I get back. But I would love to film readings while I'm away. And let's see, I'm going to switch to different account. Let's see. I want to check the audio. Live that I do until I get back. But I would love to film readings. Okay, I'm going to give myself a thumbs up because I like myself. And I hope you like yourself too. Okay, so I wanted to do a full moon reading using the Moonology cards and the Moonology manifestation cards. I already pulled the cards from the deck, and I'm just going to read from the book, and then we could talk about. I could just mention, what the book says, and give a little synopsis of what I think, what I'm getting, especially what I'm feeling. So the first one we have is your dreams need a practical plan, because the new moon in Scorpio will be on November 20th, 21st, but the full moon is on November 5th, so that's on Wednesday, depending on where you are. It may be even November 4th. So your dreams need a practical plan. Sometimes you need to weave a bit of magic, and sometimes you need to be practical. And sometimes you need to find a combination of the two. The cards suggest that this is where you are now. You need to use the laws of attraction to draw in what you want by imagining, expecting, and welcoming. But you need to balance that with taking down to earth steps towards your goals. This isn't about wishing on the moon and hoping for the best. It's about making something like a list of bullet points about how to achieve your dreams. If you're asking about money, this card heralds a change of financial fortunes, depending on both your past actions and what you're expecting and therefore attracting. And they suggest writing down 10 things that you know are wonderful about you. And I think that's important too, because if you think good of yourself, you have positive thoughts about yourself, then you will have positive thoughts about what's going on around you. Even if you're going through some challenging times, stuff that really challenges your patience, people who just really press your buttons. But just as long as you have a good thought process and belief system about who you are, that translates into your energy. People who tend to have pessimistic mindsets or thought processes or beliefs about themselves tend to attract the most negative things. And I'm not saying that it's their fault that bad things happen, but if you are a magnet for it, then there's certain things that you need to change, If you look for negativity, then you will find negativity. If you're looking for positivity, stuff to look forward to, especially when it comes to things that you want to manifest into your life, you have to have a positive mindset, because positivity attracts positivity. When do you see positivity really attracting negativity? Unless it's fake positivity, When you're being authentic, and I'm not saying, because bad things do happen to good people, but sometimes it could be karma. It could be karma, But I'm not blaming anybody for bad things that happen, but sometimes we can be in situations that don't really align to us and creates these pockets of opportunities for negativity to kind of enter in. So as long as you're in alignment with who you are and being in environments that serve who you are, that appreciate who you are, and basically support who you are, then more positive things can happen. And I know I'm simplifying it, but what I'm saying is, it's depending on how you think about yourself. If you think negatively about yourself, and then you're going to have negative thoughts about your environment, about the people you're around, about everything you experience. There are lessons in everything, and sometimes things do happen for a reason, but the reason can be yourself. And somebody said that, yeah, things can happen for a reason because you let it happen. You created a circumstance for it to happen. But what this is saying is that when you're trying to manifest something, you could be hopeful, you can wish, you can manifest, you could dream, you could visualize and all that. But if you're not taking the necessary actions to attract whatever it is that you want, then how can you really anticipate or expect for it to be manifest, for it to appear, you know? But it all starts with your mindset. And I'm just going off on a tangent because of the right 10 things that are wonderful about you. But it says laziness could explain your current situation. If so, change that and own it. Chasing money doesn't work. You need to chase a dream. Jealousy or envy creates negative energy and attracts negativity. Like I was saying, I didn't even read that yet. And more exercise is called for. So if some of you are not feeling really good about your body, not feeling very good in your body, then it may be time for you to start being a little bit more active, moving around, walking, dancing, you know, anything to get your body moving, doing activities that really have your heart pumping, have you breathing heavily, excluding eating, because sometimes when you eat, you know, after you eat, you feel like your lungs are being pushed up and you can't breathe. Like right now, I just had a sandwich. But yeah, so this is about being grounded, but also being realistic, you know, being grounded and realistic, but also hopeful and optimistic, you know. And then the work through your fears. I'm mentioning this because the new moon in Scorpio is the opposite of the full moon in Taurus, and vice versa. The new moon in Taurus would have the full moon in Scorpio, just so you know that. So this card suggests a rebirth, and we are in Scorpio season. Think of your situation as the phoenix that's rising from the ashes, as the birth, death, rebirth paradigm. That's what Scorpio energy is all about. Whatever you've been through, there's a new start ahead. It might be a little dark. It almost certainly won't be rainbows and unicorns, but it will be deep and transforming. This card also suggests that if you know you are magical, then this is the time to work your magic. It can also herald the start of a sexier time. If you've been experiencing some sort of a drought, and emotional intimacy is also on the menu. So if you've been experiencing something of a drought, and emotional intimacy is also on the menu. Scorpio is the sign that likes to go deep into body, mind, and spirit. So when the card comes up, there's nothing superficial about what's coming your way. And it says attune to the moon, have some sexy time, you know, time to let go of a grudge is another meaning of the card. Move on from jealousy, stop being obsessive. Could it be you're being paranoid, which is such a Scorpio trait, you know, because we try to anticipate all the negative things that we can experience so that we can be prepared, you know. And sometimes that's a bad thing, because if you're prepared for negativity, then you might experience that, you know. And also make an investment, you know, put your energy towards things that you really care about, where you want to see growth, right? So in the manifestation cards, we have the full moon in Taurus, detoxify. My throat chakra. Let me go here. Taurus. Okay, hi, Catherine. We are aligned. Okay. All right, full moon in Taurus, detoxify. You need a detox to restore equilibrium to your situation. Perhaps you've been obsessing and have fallen into a negative headspace. Whatever the case, you need to release any dramas, possessiveness, and stubbornness to free up everything. Digging your heels in won't help, and neither will allowing yourself to be mean. It could be a spiritual, emotional, or physical detox that's called for. Find a balance between what your heart wants and what is the practical next step to take. And your challenge now is to balance yourself emotionally. This might not be easy, but it'll boost your manifesting ability far more than if you're over emotional and therefore out of alignment. And I was saying that, you know, you have to be in alignment. And one of the exercises that she mentions doing is writing 10 positive things about yourself so that you can be in a positive mind space. Because remember, your energy, how you think about yourself, it emanates into other parts of your life. So if you have a negative viewpoint about yourself, then you're most likely going to have a negative viewpoint about the world around you. And, you know, law of attraction, you attract what you are. As above, so below. As within, so without. Okay, now for new moon in Scorpio, go deeper. You're regaining control of a situation that cut deep. You've moved through your fears and now can see where this issue has come from. Now isn't the time to gloss over the facts. Rather, it's time for you to face your darkest concerns and go deeper. Your situation may need to crumble before it can be renewed. That's the Tower. I love Tower moments, even though they're not the funnest thing to experience. And funnest is not a word, but I said it. So it is. Magic is called for. It's crucial to stay strong now. Sexually, it's time to reach for true communion with your partner. Financially, this is a blessed time to work with someone on a joint venture. It's time to release a grudge. Yeah, we gotta release grudges, you know? Scorpios, anybody who has a grudge, it doesn't matter if you're Scorpio or not, you know? Wow. So the tips for manifesting, I didn't read that for Taurus. Let me see. It says add ylang-ylang essential oil to your diffuser, sit comfortably and close your eyes. Basically, meditate. Call in Hathor, the goddess of love and joy, among other things, because Taurus is ruled by Venus. So the full moon in Taurus is on Wednesday. And feel Hathor empowering you to clear away negativity and to fill yourself up with self-love and love for others, which is like the list of 10 things about yourself, the positive things about yourself. And they said the best day is to work on Venus Day, which is Friday, but the full moon is on a Wednesday. And since it's on a Wednesday, it's going to be, I would say, be careful with how you're speaking too. Make sure you're grounded in your communication, that you are not overly emotional when you are communicating with anybody, especially since retrograde is going to start on November 9th, but we're in the pre-shadow period. And yeah, and as far as I know, Mercury is in Scorpio now. So when it goes into retrograde, I believe it's going to go into Sagittarius. That's what I heard somebody say. I have to look that up. You know, I'm not an astrologer. You know, I get the information from people who follow along with that stuff. Astrology is interesting, but it's also a lot. It's a lot. I feel like taking an astrology course because it's just as long as you know what each planet stands for and the zodiac signs assigned to them, and an understanding of the houses, how it works, what each house stands for, and how it could be influenced by planets or signs that are in the house. That's as far as I understand about astrology. You know, it's complex. So it's a lot to learn. There's a lot to remember. Okay, let me see. So let's see what comes out. Let's see. I hope you're doing well, Catherine. I hope you had a good weekend. And if you celebrated Halloween, I hope you enjoyed yourself. If not, I still hope you enjoyed yourself this weekend. Okay, let's see what comes out. We have Temperance coming out. It's coming out. See, retrograde. I don't know why I spoke about retrograde because that affects my speech sometimes. And I mentioned in a video that I don't have people coming back from the past like some people experience, but sometimes I think I'm the person that comes back from the past for other people. But for me, I get a lot of memories, experiences, like I revisit it, and it's like the universe wants to see if it still bothers me. How would I react? Will I react the same way? Oh, congratulations. Very nice. I didn't do anything for Halloween. My ass went to work and then came home. Wow. Okay, remember I was talking about how things would come back to me, but not people. And it's like a test of, what did you graduate from? Oh, wow. Okay. We got 3 major arcana cards coming out with the 5 of Wands at the bottom. But like I was saying, like how I have things coming back to me and I feel like it's a test. I feel like, I don't know, maybe that's just the energy too. Maybe you experienced that too. But we have the Temperance card, which has to do with moderation, finding peace within yourself and kind of, it's like being at peace within yourself so that wherever you are, you you are your own source of peace. You can't be ruffled. You can't have anything bother you. If anything unexpectedly happens, you're able to maintain some sort of mental and emotional equilibrium, that you don't react harshly, because we have the Judgment card, you know. Oh, nice. See, I know somebody, I don't know what she does, I call her a green witch, because she always makes these tinctures and different stuff. And it's because she has a house now. So she has a garden and she could grow everything. So that's something that I'm interested in. Herbalism, that's very interesting, because I know like all the medicine that we have now is just, I feel like it's poison. Because if you think about like how people have existed without, I'm not saying anything bad about medicine, you know, I'm not saying anything bad about, you know, the technological advancements that have occurred with medicine and stuff. And, okay, but I think it's cool. Herbalism is cool. Now, aesthetics, is that like, when you say aesthetics, is that more like physical aesthetics, or like an esthetician, or is it esoteric aesthetics classes in January? So temperance. I really like this, because I feel like sometimes, and during the retrogrades, and you know, with it, and the full moon in Taurus, it's about being grounded. And temperance is a grounded energy, you know, it's about moderation, peace, healing, restoration. Also, I also like to say it's also integration, you know, because you have the moon and the sun, that's the masculine and the feminine energy. So it's like integrating both aspects of yourself. But if like something unexpectedly happens, it's like not allowing yourself to be affected like the way you were in the past. And it's like, in a way, it's like being free. It's like a part of you is going to be set free, because maybe if some of you have been in this pattern where things happen unexpectedly and you get out of balance in some way, you're now reaching like this tail end of your healing process, where you're able to just make a judgment about how you react to certain things, how you let things affect you. And in a way, it's like you're setting yourself free, because you're no longer restricted by those like past behaviors, past actions that you would have shown, that you would have shown in the past, but it's like you're not doing that anymore. It's like you're letting things like kind of fly by you. Like any conflict that you may experience is like you're not allowing it to weigh you down anymore. It's like you're freeing your spirit, you're freeing your soul from like the heaviness of this, you know, of being a human, you know. And that's the whole point of being, I feel like the whole point of being alive, is not working to pay bills, you know, working to get material things. I think we're just supposed to find out who we truly are and how we fit into other people's lives and fit into other people's healing and their journeys. You know, I think our interactions with other people is collaborative. We're collaborating with different people from different walks of life, even people who have different belief systems than us. It's a matter of us finding an understanding amongst each other, but also finding respect. But, you know, that's not the way that it is right now in the US and possibly other places. I'm pretty sure other places, because conflict exists wherever any human exists, you know? Yes, esthetician. Okay. Yes. Ooh, I had a scalp massage once, and oh, wow, that was amazing. That was really amazing. I agree with that. I feel like there's been a disconnect, because like for me, my family, though I wasn't raised like with my Taino roots, but when I went to college and I started learning about my heritage and finding a picture of someone, a Taino girl that looked similar to me, and I was like, wow, that allowed me to connect to that part of myself. And if you look at indigenous cultures, even regardless of what part of the world, doctors, the way doctors exist now, at least I'm gonna say medicine, I don't wanna say doctors. The way medicine is now, pharmaceuticals in comparison to natural medicine, natural herbal remedies, it's like, it's not the same. Back then we knew what to avoid because we knew it would make us sick. It would help heal us. We knew in what ways or amount, like dosage and all that stuff. But it was natural. Everything now is like, it seems like it's poison. I know people get help. Medicine does help people. I do know that, you know. But I feel like the way the system is, it's not that helpful, you know. Especially when they place a price tag on it, you know. And considering that sometimes certain corporations, they go into, like, I'm gonna say Brazil, the rainforest. They have a lot, God knows how many plants and herbs exist there that the Amazonians used to treat and care for and get people healthy, you know, medicine, herbal medicine. But these corporations go into these rainforests just to destroy these plant life that help people, that's supposed to help people healthy, but they're doing it because they know that as long as people are engaging in herbalism with plants and stuff, plants and herbs and all, you know, fruits, vegetables, seeds, all that stuff, anything that comes from nature, they try to destroy it because they won't make a profit off of it, you know? I hate that. I don't like that. Yeah. I only go to the doctor when it's absolutely necessary. You know, like if there's something really wrong, you know, like if it's taking too long to heal on its own, I'm like, okay, no, I need to go to the doctor. But, you know, sometimes I take a little too long. Sometimes I feel like I act like a man when it comes to that, you know, like I'm fine. I'll just put duct tape on it and I'll be okay, you know. I need to improve my nutrition, though. That's something I really need to work on. Okay. Let's see what else comes out. Let me see what time it is. Okay, I still have time. Got the Ace of Swords. I try to be careful with what I say because I know people are like, oh yeah, she don't know what the hell she's talking about. But the thing is, like, when you think of people, how people used to live before, it was the main issue, I would say, was hygiene. That's what killed a lot of people. People were not washing their hands. A lot of cross-contamination, you know, and then being exposed to certain materials that are toxic too. And the fact that we know things are toxic and we're still exposed to it. And even though, and there doesn't seem to be any sort of regulation, at least in the US. Ooh, okay, so I got the Ace of Swords with the Nine of Swords in reverse. So that's indicating that, like, maybe somebody was feeling anxious about something, but then it's like some truth, some clarity brought relief from that anxiety. And that kind of makes sense too, because if you think about medicine, whenever you feel like you're going through, like you're sick, and you're experiencing symptoms and you don't know what's going on with you, but then once you find out the truth of what's causing the illness or the symptoms that you're experiencing, that kind of brings relief. And it's like you don't feel crazy, because like the Nine of Swords is like you feel like you're kind of going crazy. You can't sleep, you're anxious, you may be having nightmares, or you're just stressed and overwhelmed. But then once the clarity comes in, it's like you get released from that. And it's funny because in this deck, you see all the crows are black, but then you see this white bird. And the way I like to interpret that is like, and then you see here, there's this white bird right here. I mean, this crow. And you could say that that's this crow, this white crow, bringing some truth, that brings some relief from whatever anxiety someone may be experiencing. And it could have to do with something that's being manifested. And it's funny, we were talking about earlier about Mercury retrograde and the Magician. Gemini, ruled by Mercury. So maybe if there is a manifestation coming through, I'm seeing the infinity symbol on both the cards. So that may be significant. Infinity symbol, number 8. The 8th is my birthday. Pluto, is that Pluto? Or Mars. No, okay, Mars. It could be Mars. I think that's Mars. The Mars symbol. Pluto, Scorpio. Mars is Scorpio and Aries. So what was the Nine of Swords? Just so we can narrow down what the Nine of Swords was. It could have to do with finances. We have the Nine of Pentacles with the Hermit coming in. And then Five of Swords, which has to do with mental conflict. Yeah, maybe somebody has been stressing about their finances. It's funny, like here, there's a white bird there. And I was mentioning this bird right here, the white bird in the Nine of Swords. So I feel like something is coming in that's going to bring some peace. It's going to bring a peace of mind for whoever may be experiencing financial hardship or just worries about money. And you know, it makes sense too because of what's going on in the US. A lot of people who receive benefits, SNAP benefits, they will be losing their benefits unless something changes. And then there's going to be a lot of people worried about food, feeding their families. So it makes sense. So maybe some people are getting a better understanding of what's going on when it comes to that they're saying the truth, and that there may be justice when it comes to that. Maybe there's going to be some sort of relief for those people who are affected, or regardless if it's like this. I'm just thinking about it broadly, but it could just be something that someone may be personally experiencing, some financial hardship, and wanting financial independence, having to introspect, reflect on possibly in what areas or how they can kind of get themselves out of that rut, financial rut, or just that mental conflict it could be stress or conflict, it could be anxiety, it could be hearing, like I could think people, it's also, this is what I'm getting to, because you see the crow is speaking to the person with the Five of Swords. It's like, we're hearing so many things online that's kind of stressful. So sometimes you need to take a break. You got to get away from it all, not let the news, people gossip or whatever, anything stressful, you kind of have to take a break from it. You have to take a respite from it in order to kind of find some sort of relief. I feel like it's also about looking at what you have and being grateful for it, because we may not have everything we want, but we have to appreciate everything we have. And I'm not going to say everything, because there's some things that I don't appreciate. I would like to get rid of. So just appreciate the things that you value. Don't focus on the things that don't add any value to your life. Focus on what brings value to you and be grateful for it. Because sometimes we constantly, like I said in the beginning, we're so focused on the negative that we lose sight of what good we already have. We have for us, King of Wands. I feel like this is about taking control, being creative. I mean, if you are experiencing financial hardships, thinking about different ways you can make money, especially when it comes to hobbies that you may have, looking at different ways you can make money off hobbies you have. That could bring a level of independence too. But there could be some background fears, insecurities that can be holding you back and can be causing the Five of Swords energy. But it's about introspection, working through your fears, working through your insecurities, and finding clarity. Like, are your fears and insecurities validated? Are they valid? Or are you using them as excuses to hold you back from what it is you want, especially if it comes to financial independence? So sometimes you got to take control of those fears. That's advice for me too. You're the queen or king of your domain, and sometimes we forget that we have that power. Because in the King of Wands card, his wand has a crown, and the crown is flames. So it's about your inner drive. It's your power, your passion. What lights a fire under you? What gets you going? What motivates you? Ooh. Then we also have the Queen of Swords. But also being honest with yourself, you know? Pragmatic, but not so much where you kind of get in your own way, but just looking at things. Sometimes you have to intellectualize things, which is what, and sometimes you have to kind of take your emotions out of it. But sometimes if you are taking your emotions out of something, that could be what's hindering you. Because if you're over intellectualizing something, then you're not allowing, you know, your passion, your desires to, or your dreams to drive you. Instead, you're like, you may be constantly overthinking, thinking, but not taking any action. And the King of Wands is an action king. You know, he takes action. He goes after what he wants, you know. So that may be something about doing some introspection about some fears or insecurities you may have that may be stopping you from being a go-getter, going after what it is you want. And you know what's funny is I was watching, the King of Cups. It's funny because we have the King of Wands, King of Swords, and then we have the King of Cups showing up. So it's about love, what you love, you know, following your heart, following your passion, being honest with yourself. And I like how he's sitting there in a meditative state and he has his eyes closed, like the same way someone who's in the hermit energy. Sometimes you have to think. I can't say stop thinking, because when we think, it allows us to be aware of what we're feeling. It helps us acknowledge what we're feeling and also acknowledge what we're lacking, and also helps us with planning what actions to take. You know, so it's about putting your heart and soul into whatever it is that you want. Not allowing fear to hold you back, allowing other people's limiting beliefs about themselves be projected onto you, because that tends to happen. You know, when you're trying to do great things and the people who are stagnant, that really don't want to do anything, they may try to hold you back. They may say things to discourage you, but those are the people that you kind of had to shut out, that you have to silence. Their voice and whatever dreams that you're trying to achieve for yourself should be muted. And you should only focus on what you think, what you feel, and what motivates you, which is the King of Wands, the Queen of Swords, and the King of Cups. Okay. So I'm gonna now go into the yes or no deck from Maruk X, because I have to finish up soon because of my lunch break. My lunch break ends. The first card we have is yes. Choice made after much thought. They decided to be with you instead of their other option. But let's forget about that. This isn't about love. This is about making a choice. You have to make a choice. And whatever choice you make is the right one for you. So if you have a question about that, then yes, what you decide, what you ultimately decide to do, whatever you choose, it's a yes for it. This one, keep an open mind. Keep an open mind while looking for love to sample the array of possibilities that life presents. So we have February showing up. So February may be relevant. It could be a birthday. It could be some sort of event that happens in February. It could be an anniversary. Let's see this card. Divine love. You signed up to do the journey together before you were born. Nothing will go wrong. And then we have August showing up. So we have February and August. So those months may be significant. Like I said, birthdays or an anniversary, anniversary, it may be an event that may be coming up or has already passed. And all is well. Things will work out as they should. Believe that they will. and detach from outcomes. July. So we have July coming through as well. Yeah. I just looked at the bottom of the deck for the tarot deck, and it says Knight of Swords. I mean, it's the Knight of Swords. So this is about like making a decision and following through with it. Be open-minded with what may be coming up. And there may be certain things that can come up along the journey, but they're lessons that you're meant to experience that are supposed to help bring you growth and also lead you to wherever achievements you're trying to go to. Because underneath that was the 10 of Pentacles. And that's about wealth, legacy, inheritance, just abundance, financial abundance. But then the Emperor, this is about taking control, being disciplined, going after what it is you want and not letting anything stop you. Just as long as you're listening to your thoughts, but the thoughts that help you plan, that help you organize, follow through with the actions that you set forth for the plans you've created, but then also following your heart, you know, which is like a lot, you know. Sometimes it's like our mind takes over, our heart takes over, but it's like, ugh, you know. So I'm going to leave the reading there. I hope you all have a great day. Thank you so much, Catherine, for joining me. If you're still there, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And congratulations again with your graduation. And I'm wishing you well with your new courses that you're going to be starting in January. So bye, everyone.